Hi, beautiful souls. So, adulting is on hold for the week of April 13th, and the inner child has come out to play. Okay, so it's been a few weeks now, and again, it's really hard for the human psyche to be cooped up indoors without interaction with others for over 10 days at a time. It does something to you, right? And so mental health is a big deal right now. It's important to use your imagination and creativity to shake things up. I've been seeing people dancing and drawing on social media and things like that. And actually there was a video in India, they were playing bingo while social distancing on their balconies, which was super, super fun. So what's going on right now? Like I said, for us, we're in different camps. I mentioned this a few weeks ago, where there's the revving up camp, there's the folks that slow down because they've lost their jobs, unfortunately been furloughed, and there's the folks like myself that are really excited to share their gifts with the world. And we were just very, very excited, and I feel like right now what I'm sensing is a lot of people are just focusing on the essentials, and they don't want to spend money on other things that they feel are not a necessity right now because there's so much unknown and uncertainty. So people are kind of hoarding things and hoarding their money, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do right now because this is temporary. Every virus is temporary, right? This is a temporary situation. It's going to pass. And yes, it's going to take weeks or months for our economy to come back. It's important to support small business at this time, coaches like myself, so that way you're using this time to the best of your ability to work on yourself and do the inner work. So it's really interesting because 12,000 years ago, Atlantis fell. And this is around the same time for us. It's like the age of Aquarius. The old civilization is falling, this new civilization is coming to be, and so this is a huge time for us to go inside. The Atlanteans made the mistake of going outside, building temples, kind of doing everything in the outer world, whereas the land of Mu, which a lot of you know as Lemuria, those guys really took an internal view, and I feel like the world is kind of switched on its head right now, where we're not outwardly focused, but inwardly focused. At least that's what Mother Earth is creating. And so take this time, explore different timelines, right? So for those of you that have been furloughed, for example, this is just a pause. You haven't been, let go yet. This is not, the end of the world. And so this is a really good time to kind of explore different timelines. And for those of us that, the business might not come back, or you realize you don't like your job in the first place, or you are looking at what's working, what's not working, this is a really good time to do that. To kind of do that internal work and say, like, where am I getting a wake-up call? Is it in my work? Is it in my relationship? Is it in my finances? And so kind of like take this time to really assess what's working, what's not, and how can you change it? So you came here to co-create. You came here to master yourself, right? Master your chakras, balance your chakras. That's why you guys come see people like myself, to help you balance your chakras and really, really master your inner world. So that has nothing to do with the outside world, even though, again, there's the coronavirus, the US death tolls are the highest, unfortunately, and the cases and all that stuff. And so we're doing our part, trying to stay home as much as possible and maybe only leaving to get essentials. But it's really important to focus on your inner journey, and that has nothing to do with the outside. So again, things have slowed down. This is a pause. So why not explore those different timelines? Why not study things and subject matters that you've always been interested in, but just haven't had time because you've been so busy, because we live in such a yang outward society where it's go, go, go. And a lot of us are starting to really appreciate the little things like coffee shops, or for me, I've been like daydreaming about markets. When I used to live in Europe and go to a food market or a furniture market and go flea shopping. And so I've been looking through all these old magazines and just kind of like trying to feel that feeling of, and just having so much gratitude, or dancing. Like I just had a dance party in the car, using vibration, using uplifting music to get us out of this funk, because we're a lot of us have this cabin fever, our mental health is being affected. So use these tools, use music, use dance, use art to kind of get you, use yoga to move your energy, right? So as far as exploring different timelines is concerned, You know, for me, for example, you know, let's say I have an interest in learning more about stocks, you know, and investing. So I've been reading about that. I've been researching, you know, seeing when's a good time to jump in the market. I've been listening to Lewis Howes. He's brought like Dave Ramsey and Tony Robbins on, and just like such a breath of fresh air and bringing so much hope during these crazy uncertain times. Just basically telling people like we haven't been through this, but we've been through hardships before with, you know, Katrina and SARS and Y2K and the 2008 recession and different things like that. And so, you know, we got through that. It took a while, but we got through that. And so we will get through this again. And so just giving this really healthy perspective of if you have the money, this is a good time to buy stocks and bonds because they're on sale. And so just kind of, I really invite you to be very innovative and look at things in a very different way. Or different skills, like besides subject matter interests, like different skills. Like for me, I'm a cook. So in my lifestyle reset program, I created 2 cookbooks, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free for the first one for the detox. And the second one is just full of fruit recipes like acai, matcha bowls, and, you know, herbal coffee elixirs, and you know, things like chia seed bowls and things like that. So really healthy, yummy options. So I love cooking, and I often say I'm like the Rachel Ray of the wellness world, like 20 minutes or less, 6 ingredients and less, and all my, you know, online courses and all the things that I teach are very, very easy and set you up for success and transformation. So, you know, I'm no stranger to the kitchen. My mom is an amazing cook. Everybody in my family is as well, so we're very blessed, but I'm not a baker. My sister is, and so she lives in Canada, and she was just telling me there's literally no yeast. Everybody is going to their kitchens, baking things, comfort foods, and there's no yeast. Well, I just went to Target this morning to get some baking supplies, and there's no baking powder. So instead of freaking out and be like, oh my God, scarcity, everybody's buying everything off the shelves, instead of getting caught up in that momentum and that energy, I'm like, that's okay. I looked online and researched, and I was like, oh, I can replace it with buttermilk, right? Or lemon juice or vinegar or whatever to have that acidity with the alkaline base of baking soda. So that's what's really being tested right now, is our human spirit, our resilience, our ability to adapt. So those that adapt, those that are resilient, those will see the good in any situation. There are people making money right now. Not everyone is losing money. Not everyone's out of work. You know, and so do you want to be on that side of optimism and positive thinking and mindset, or do you want to be the person who's like doom and gloom, depressed, you know, fearful of the unknown? I mean, my husband was just saying the other day, he's like, the worst part of it all is like the unknown. And I'm like, well, you were never in control in the first place. Like, Spirit is in the driver's seat, and now we're getting a taste of that. Like, we've never had control. We've had the illusion of control, but we don't. So everything is unknown, everything is uncertain, but now it's just slamming us right in the face. And it's terrifying for a lot of people. So it's important to work through these feelings of fear and anxiety and talk with your partner. I mean, I talked last week about, unfortunately, you know, domestic violence is on the rise because people don't have escapes. They're not going to to work 12 hours a day or the gym or whatever. They can't get away from each other. So then they're butting heads, and, you know, unfortunately some people are resorting to violence or verbal abuse. Again, if you're in that situation and, you know, do what's right for you. If you need to get out of there and stay with family or friends, do that. Make sure that you're safe. If you're in a, you know, less precarious situation where you're just not getting along and you're realizing this relationship's not for you, obviously ride it out. And then when things change, you can kind of you know, plan a different timeline and a different future for you. But this is a time, I was saying last week, that Venus is in retrograde shadow period right now, and it goes in retrograde May 13th. And so this is a time that's going to make or break relationships. So if you are in a relationship and it's an unhealthy one, this is a wake-up call for you. If you're in a relationship, I know you guys are just kind of both working from home and you're on top of each other, it's really important. I was listening to Devon talk on, you know, the Lewis Howes show, and he was so perfect because he was just saying, like, set healthy boundaries, set expectations, like, you know, and everyone's different. Like, it's okay. Like, give yourself permission to be different. Like, some people spend like 24/7 together and they get along, and some people spend 10 or 20% of their relationship together, right? Like, everyone's different. There's no right or or wrong, just like whatever works for you, but like everyone needs alone time, right? And so just because you're both working from the home, you're not seeing your separate friends groups, you're not doing your separate activities, you're not going to the gym, it's a lot of pressure, right? And you have like no new energy to share into the relationship, right? Like that's why we do different things and go, and because that way we can share with our partner or our spouse like these new experiences, this new energy. So just be mindful of that and create that space. Just basically, I know my husband likes to hang out in the living room. I like to hang out in my room. We have also like a chill lounge downstairs. So just kind of ensuring that each other has the chill space, has that downtime to compress. Like right now, Hubs is in retail management, so he's on the front lines and he's seeing a lot of things. And so just kind of giving him that space to decompress. My son is an essential worker. He is working in the grocery store, bless his heart. So those of us that have loved ones that are like in the line of fire, or healthcare workers or nurses or doctors, right? Just ensuring that we give them that love, we give them that support, and we give them that space to decompress. Because everybody is at a different scale, on the worry scale, on the fear scale, on the uncertainty scale, right? We're all different. And so I think that's really, really important. I do want to talk about single people here before I forget. So my best friend and my cousin is single, and we've had numerous discussions about all these different dating apps, and some single peeps, I'm sending you some love. You might be feeling a little lonesome. But again, Devon mentions this, and it's so in alignment with my teaching. So I'm going to have to, it's worth repeating. Check out what the beautiful content that Lewis Houses is producing on YouTube and his podcast. But again, Devon, he is a relationship coach. He talks about this. He says, he was on a celibacy journey. So was I, actually, before I met my twin flame. And he talks about that. Again, not everybody has to be on a celibacy journey, but I have to tell you, there's so much clarity that you get when you simply, get to know each other without sex, without chemistry, without, all these things going on that cloud your judgment. So this is a really good time for, those people that are newly dating or not living together, or those that are just kind of like, playing the field, swiping right or left on these dating apps, to have these, these FaceTime dates, right? Like, is this person able to communicate and sustain a conversation? And like, communication is so important, right? And so for people who are in relationships, like, are you having those deep conversations, those honest conversations, those authentic conversations about your fears and your concerns? Again, you may not go to that level when you're first getting to know someone, but on a dating app, it's important to kind of have those chats and see, let's develop this level of rapport and communication virtually, and see, is this somebody I want to pursue, right? Or is this somebody, that is just kind of going to be like a booty call, or somebody that I just hook up with or whatever. Like, it's really important, again, right now, to let go of the superficiality. No judgment, but it's not a time for that. It's a time to focus on the essentials and what's important to you, to do the inner work, to find your own happiness, because whether you're in partnership or not, that person's not going to make or break your happiness, okay? That's a lot of pressure for another person to meet all your needs, and to make you happy. That is not the goal. You have to be able to provide your own happiness to the equation, and that person just makes you happier, not happy, period. Right? So again, there's a lot going on there. The last thing I want to leave you with is music is vibration, right? We're energy. So it's important to listen to uplifting music, have dance parties, get your body moving, get the endorphins and the serotonin and all that. Because again, when you're just sitting all cooped up and your energy field is, discombobulated, that can also affect our mental health. Making sure that we're eating healthy food like fermented foods, making sure that we're exploring our imagination and our creativity, and really feeding the inner child. Okay, guys, last thing, big shout out to Mother Earth for cleaning up while we're staying home, and for the animals and the dolphins swimming, and for the ozone layer repairing itself. I keep wanting to mention this every single time. I am just so happy that despite all this craziness that's going on and what we have to endure for this new world to be born, that Mother Earth is at least benefiting. And I am sending out my prayers for a cure, for plasma treatments, for all those that are affected. I'm sending out my prayers, I'm sending out my love, and thank you so much to all that are in the front lines that are helping us get through this epidemic. Love you lots. It's Rena with InsideJobHealing.com.